Okay, so that's Fluffy, and I wanted to show you this. You see how her wings are dropped down, and she has a little bulge underneath her tail by her vent, and she's kind of doing a little panting. She is getting ready to lay an egg. You can literally see the bulge right behind her legs under her tail, and when she lets her wings drop down, that means she's working. So this is Birdie version of labor. She's working on that second egg. So I'm glad she came out of the box so we could see this. Let's see. Better shot, perhaps. There we go. So now we can just see her front on. She's going to go back in her box because she has an egg now then. But I wanted to show you that. So that's an indication that a bird's getting ready to lay. So a little breeding update here. Old Pearl right there is going to town. She's up to 2 eggs now. These two, this is Fluffy and Coco, and I am not sure what they're doing. I haven't seen them breed, but they do go in the nest box together. And Coco definitely owns it, and so does he. So it's just a matter of time. We had a little tragedy down here with Royal Violet and his lady Snow. I came out here yesterday and she had disappeared. I assumed she was in the nest box because they had been mating and doing everything appropriate. And so I waited and I didn't look, but by the end of the day I was like, really? She's in there for good already? So I opened the nest box and she's not in the cage. She escaped and I never saw it. Now she's been escaping from the cage and flying around inside the shed, but I never saw it, and she's not in here, so all I can guess is that she flew out over my head when I opened the door and I never saw it. So poor Royal here, who thought he was bonded to Coco out in the flight cage, got brought in here and unhappily put it together and decided to get with Snow. She's gone. I'm looking for her still, but I'm hoping that she's going to show up over on the flight cage at some point, but she's bright white and her chances of survival out in the real world are not great. So this little girl is Matilda, and I was getting ready to pass her on as an unbred female because I didn't have a mate for her. But now that Snow's gone and I have no chance of getting a recessive pied, I'm just going to go for the Violet. Now, I don't know if you can tell the difference because it doesn't photograph well, but Royal Violet is a deep, deep purple color. And Matilda is a cobalt blue. So Violet's another one of those color-adding factors, kind of like gray. It just lays on top of the color that's already there. But in most color variations, it doesn't really show up very well. But it does show on single dark factor blue birds. And that's what a cobalt is. So both of these birds are cobalt blues, only he has the violet factor and she doesn't. Now, you'd think, okay, they're both cobalt blue, so they each have a single dark factor, that all their babies are going to have a single dark factor. No. If you have a single factor of anything, it means you can pass it on to 1/2 of your babies. So he's going to pass on his dark factor to 1/2 of the babies, and she's going to pass on her dark factor to 1/2 of the babies. But that's not necessarily going to be one for each baby. There will be some babies that don't get any dark factor because they are just not in the lineup. And there'll be some babies that get a double dark factor and end up being mauves. And then there'll be some babies that get a single dark factor. So these guys' babies are going to be, you know, all different variations of blue. And I'm hoping for a few violets in there. So a violet doesn't tend to work very well on a sky blue or on a mauve. It works really well with just the cobalt. So we'll see what happens. And there's no way of knowing whether Royal Violet has a single factor or a double factor of violet because it looks the same. So he's either passing that out to half his babies or all of them. We'll just have to see what happens. Matilda's very heavily into the nest box. But poor old Royal over there is going, well, you're not the right girl. What happened to my girl? He's been through 2 already. And he's been looking for her and calling for her, and she's not answering. So I have a sinking feeling that she took flight and either got herself lost or got herself immediately eaten by something, because she's bright snowy white, which is very, very sad. So anyway, there's poor Royal starting over again. The good news is that unlike Snow, Matilda is a very willing female. She's already in the nest box, even though Royal doesn't want to speak to her. So I don't think there's going to be any issue there. Talking of reluctant females, here is Snow. Sunny. I have just brought her back outside and put her... I moved them from a one stack to another, from the middle of the stack to the top of the stack. There's the nest box right over there. So we'll see if she decides. I'm not going to move her anymore. She's definitely at least looking at the nest box. And the other thing I did was, I always put pine shavings in the bottom of my boxes. And it never causes a problem. In fact, it gives the females a little something to do. But I've always bred females that have never been bred anywhere else. They're first-time breeders. So they climb into a nest box, they find it full of pine shavings, they go, oh, well, we'll just throw these out. So they throw them out. This gal, Sunny, is actually about 3 years old, and I got her from a breeder who literally snatched her off a nest with a live baby and 3 eggs and handed her to me. And I was like, you can't do that. She's got a baby in there. He's like, I'll just put it in with one of the other birds. So I'm like, well, what if she's going to miss it? He's like, it's a bird. It doesn't have any feelings. I'm like, wow. So anyway, she's an established breeder. She's probably had 3 or 4 different mates at least. She's had a 6-month vacation from breeding out in the flight cage, so she's strong and healthy and not overworked at this point. And she loves her frost. Now we're just trying to get her to land on a nest box. So I've played my little game with her, pulling her out, separating her from frost, putting her in a different cage. And I took all the pine shavings out of the nest box in case that was what she didn't like, because she may have never seen that in a nest box before. And now we're just going to wait and see. Okay, so these two over here, Hyacinth and Phantom, she's been in that nest box for like 3 or 4 days, but she hasn't laid an egg yet. I'm a little mystified. I'm watching her very closely to make sure she's not egg bound. I know what that looks like, and she's not. She just doesn't seem to have an egg in there. There's no sign of it at all, but she's sitting in there as though there are eggs in there, so I don't know what's up with that. I'm just going to assume that eventually she will start laying eggs. These two are doing big loving. She spends a lot of time in the box, but no eggs from her yet, but we'll see what happens. They're clearly very happily bonded now. They love their box, and, you know, things should happen. Look at that. Birdie love. Birdie love. I love it when they do that. They just sit there face to face and coo to each other. He says, we're being watched. Come on, girl. And there is Blue and Fancy is very happy with her nest box. I saw them mating the other day, so I expect to start getting eggs out of them anytime soon. And here we go with Rainbow and Aqua. Rainbow's in that nest. She's decided she likes it. I had to put, they're on the sunny side of the cage, and I had to put like it's actually a pillowcase, a white pillowcase across the back of their cage, at least part of the back of their cage, and across the side of the nest box so the sun won't shine directly on it, because I don't want the box to get too hot. And I did the same thing with this cage up here. It's a yellow dish towel. And it's just a sunshade so that in the afternoons those boxes won't heat up. Well, there she is. So these two are coming along nicely, and I expect she'll start laying eggs in the next week or so. Okay, that's the breeding update.